All right, so I'm gonna start recording. And all right, so who has basic familiarity with the command line, prior to Platoon?
Just copy and pasting what the internet guide said.
Oh, several people. Okay, that's good. So, I mean, do you guys do scripting, or like what's the extent of the?
For me, it's just mostly like basic navigation stuff. Like I'm comfortable, navigating document trees and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the same for me too.
Yep. Looking for like hidden files and all the Git workflow.
Okay, cool. So yeah, that's basically what we're going to be. So I'll go over some things, but what you really need to know for Platoon is very basic. It's just how to move around, how to create directories, open things, and then get some Git stuff. So you don't need to know very much. It's just a handful of commands, and we'll see them over and over and over again. So I'm going to run through some stuff now, but don't feel like you need to, sit here and memorize everything immediately. So first thing, I'm here somewhere in my computer. So how do I know where I am?
PWD.
PWD. And what does PWD mean?
Current working directory.
Yeah. So here I have
what does the P stand for?
Present. So sometimes it's CWD. I don't know if CWD is a Windows thing or an alternate command. Yeah. So present working directory, something like that. So PWD. What are we doing? PWD will tell me where I am on my system. So /users/code Platoon. I can go deeper, and your file structure will look a little bit different depending on if you're on a Windows machine or Linux machine. But that's fine. So PWD tells me where I am. What about who I am? How do I find out who I am? Like what user I am?
I think it's who am I, right?
Yeah. So who am? You'll find that some of these commands are very obvious, and some of them are the opposite of obvious. So who am I is one of the. So my computer, which was given to me, misspelled Platoon. Sorry if that bothers you. It bothers me a little bit, but I'm too lazy to change it. So code Platon is the name of my work computer. So I know where I am. I know who I am. So how do I see what's around me?
ls will give you all the directories in your current directory, right?
Yes, it'll give me it'll tell me all of the directories and files. So if I do ls, I can see that there's a whole bunch of stuff. I have a bunch of, in this case, all I have is folders or directories. Is there anything else here?
Or hidden files.
Yeah, there are hidden files everywhere. You're surrounded by hidden files. So I can do ls, but there are, ls is like the basic command. So you can think of ls as a function, basically. So you're calling a function called ls, and ls will return you all of the things in your current directory, at least all of the ones that aren't hidden. You can also pass it like a flag, which is like passing in an argument or a parameter. So we can do ls-a. We can see that there's a whole bunch of other stuff in here. So what do you notice about the hidden files? Or the ones that didn't show up here?
They have a dot in front of them?
Yeah, exactly. So hidden files get a dot in front of them. We've already worked with a hidden file, in fact. there's our bash profile that we've been modifying. Okay, what about these guys?
I believe they're like for navigating to different directories, because I know like it's cd ... will take you up a directory, right? So
Yep. So dot is basically, it kind of means one directory up from wherever I am. What about one dot?
That's the current directory you're in.
Yeah. So one dot. So if I do something like ls, so commands, sometimes you can just run command by itself. Sometimes you can, they will have flags. It's called a flag. So -a is a flag, which modifies the command a little bit. In this case, it allows us to see all of the output, including hidden files. You can also pass it arguments. So we can give it a directory to look in. So we can do something like ls ... So this is saying, look in the directory above where I am right now. So this is what's in the directory above where I am. So 2 dots. I can also do ls ... which will not be very exciting because that's the default for this command anyway. So ls ... will show you what's in the current directory. So what happens if I open code? So code, when I run the command code, I can just run it by itself and it will open. I can also run it, I can pass it an argument, which will be a directory. So if I want to open code starting where I am right now, I do code space dot. If I run that, then you can see that I have all of this stuff. Let's just
I got 1,000.
never mind. Okay. So yeah, so dot will refer to your current directory. Okay, all these other dot files, we can see, we can still see them once we know about their existence. And we could go into them. Let's see, see .vs code. Okay. Anyway, we'll skip that for now. So you can do ls, that will show us everything that's all the non-hidden files and folders in our current directory. We can do ls -a to give us the hidden files. We can also pass an optional path, a file path, to show where. You can do /library. There's another flag that might be of use on occasion. So ls-l. So ls, again, this is a flag -l. So it'll change, it modifies it modifies this command just a little bit. In this case, it displays this list and it shows us all these files, but we get a lot more information. Notice that all of these start with D. Any ideas what D might mean?
Directory.
Yeah. It's a directory. So let me just create a file. Something like this, and then we'll run this command again. Notice that I don't have a D in front of that file that I just created. Okay, and then here we have these 9 little things. These are actually in groups of 3. You don't need to know the details, but this is basically, it's read, write, and execute permissions. So this won't really matter for 90% of the time, but occasionally you might need to look at that or modify it. So we also get information. You can tell when it was last modified. We can tell how large it is. So there's a whole bunch of other things we can learn. We don't need to go into all the details.
What was the D for?
The D indicates that it's a directory.
Gotcha.
All right. So I'm going to clear. All right. So now I'm here at the root for this user, but I want to go start doing some stuff. So I want to start doing some work, writing some code, but I probably don't want to do it right here. Let me first off, does anyone know how I can delete this file that I created?
Is it RM and then the file name?
Yeah. So rm, it's like remove my file.txt. So a couple things that I'd like to indicate is that I didn't have to type out my file.txt. I don't have to type out all of that. I can just type out enough to disambiguate it and then press tab. So it'll autocomplete. So if I want to remove, I just typed in M. In this case, nothing else started with M, so it knew that it had to be my file. Press tab and it autocompletes. So I do this, and then if I want to run ls again, I could just type it again. But there's also a command history that we can access. And you can access that by pressing the up arrow. So you can cycle through your previous command history. So in this case, I just want to go the previous command, do ls, and I can see that that file is gone.
And Chad, when you do RM, that thing is gone forever, gone for good, right?
Yeah,
It's deleted
yes.
completely.
It's not in my trash can or recycle bin or whatever. There's another flag, I forget, -y maybe. There's another flag you can do that will ask you to confirm you need to delete something,
But you have to use the flag. You have to
Yeah.
remember to use the flag to confirm yourself.
yes, if you want to do that. Yeah, so Unix-based systems give you a lot of power and responsibility. Okay, so let's say I want to go into my desktop folder. How do I do that? Or let's say, yeah, let's go into the desktop.
CD,
Yeah. So what does CD stand for?
change directory.
Yeah. So CD, D, I'm going to type capital D, I'm going to press tab, and it's not going to work because there are several things that start with D. So I can do DE, and that's enough. Then I do tab and it auto completes. Okay, so now I'm in desktop, and notice how my little the prompt is also changed.
So I noticed something interesting.
Yeah.
When I typed CD/DE and hit tab, it didn't work initially because it wasn't capitalized. The D wasn't capitalized.
Yeah.
So that's case sensitive.
Yes. Correct. I think there are some differences between Windows and Linux, or maybe different versions of Linux in terms of case sensitivity, but yeah. Okay, so now I'm in desktop, and what if I want to see all the files and folders that are in desktop?
You do ls.a or -a.
I could do, yeah, if I want to see all the files, including all the hidden files.
Just ls.
Yeah, you can do ls or ls-a or ls. You can also combine flags. So we saw L right? We can do ls dash la. You can combine flags. So it's a, like a more orderly view that also includes the hidden files. Okay, so now I'm in desktop. So let's say I'm in here and I want to create a, want to create a folder called project, and that's where I want to start working.
Make directory?
Yeah, so yes, but can I type in,
MKDIR.
yeah, so mkdir, so make directory. Is there anything else I need to tell it?
Project folder?
Okay. Project, what if I do this? Project.
You gotta put it in quotation marks.
Yeah, so it's best practice to avoid using spaces when you're naming stuff. So project folder or project dash folder or whatever. You can use spaces, but it just makes everything just more of a pain. Okay, so did that work? So how do I know it worked?
CD P tab.
Say what?
CD P tab.
This,
So I could, yeah, but so I ran this command and then
LS.
I didn't get any,
LS.
so I could do that.
It didn't yell at you.
Thank you. Yeah, so if you do something, and it worked, then Linux just expects you to do everything perfectly, right? So it doesn't praise you when you do things well. It only criticizes you when you mess up. So we can do ls first just to see that it's there. Project folder. So cd ppr and then tab. And press enter, and now where are we?
In that directory.
So what's in this directory?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Dot and dot dot.
Yep. Dot and dot dot. So a reference to the current directory and a reference to the one up. Okay. So now what I like to do, I'd like to start writing some JavaScript. So I want to create a file and I want to write some JavaScript.
so it'd be touch?
So you can create a file with touch.
Would it be touch?
Yeah. Yeah, so I touch and then we'll do a very simple.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll just do a JavaScript file, something very simple. So again, it seems like it didn't work. Did it work?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but what is touch again? What does touch do?
Touch creates a file.
Okay.
So mkdir, make directory, creates a directory, and touch. So again, some of these commands are it's very obvious what they do. Touch, it's not obvious what it does, unfortunately. That's just how it is. So touch creates a file. All right, so if I do ls, I should be able to see now I have this file. So what if I want to see what's inside of this file?
Cat hi.js.
Yeah, so we have a couple options. So I kind of want to, just as an experiment, we'll try not to use a GUI or a mouse throughout this. So I can do cat, and what does cat mean? So what does cat do? Looks like I didn't do anything.
Basically, it prints or outputs the contents of the file to the display.
Yeah. Yeah, so again, this is one of those commands that obvious what it does. So cat, I think it's like concatenate, something like that, but it will display the contents of the file into the standard output. But we don't have anything in the file yet. So ideally, we would like to put something into the file. So there's, a handful of ways we can do this in Linux. Has anyone used Vim before, or VI? Have you used it because you had to use it, or because you're a masochist or sadist or whatever?
It's the one that's there by default.
Yeah. So the great thing about Vim is that it's always there. You can always count on Vim, almost always count on Vim being there. So things like VS Code and Word or whatever, these are great. And for your personal computer, you can expect that something like that will be there. But if you need to do something on a server, for example, if you need to modify a file on a server, you're not going to have VS Code installed on a server. So you have to do it on the command line. So Vim is a whole thing. And actually, I think the first couple cohorts of Platoon, they had to learn on Vim. So you VI and then the file, and now I get, notice my output changed. So you don't need to learn how to use Vim. I'm just showing you this. And Vim is very bizarre. So in order to start typing something, you have to press I. This will switch to insert mode. And then we'll just type. So if I want to, and so this is a JavaScript file. So if I want to just say hi in JavaScript, how do I do that? Okay. Like that. Okay, and then to save it, I have to press escape :WQ. Isn't that intuitive? Saving a file, escape :WQ.
If anyone is following you might have to repeat that a few times because I always get stuck in Vim.
Yeah.
Like I literally can't get. I'm like I don't remember how to get out of this thing, and yeah, it's always escape WQ.
It's it's a beast. I've seen a couple of people in real life who spent a lot of time to get good at it, and you can do things much faster, but the learning curve is not worth it for me.
How did you get out of it?
Oh no.
How did you get out of it? Because I was following along. How did you get out of it?
You press escape.
Escape. Oh, okay.
And then colon. And then WQ.
WQ.
And then enter.
Are we gonna have to use
okay.
that?
Oh my goodness. Escape.
No, you're not gonna have to use Vim. I'm just showing you this one so that you can see. I'm trying to show you that you can do lots of things on the command line. You don't need a GUI, but GUIs are nice. And two, so that you appreciate VS Code more.
Oh, after seeing that, I definitely appreciate it more.
All right, so now if I want to see what's inside hi.js, I can run cat. But again, I'm lazy, so I don't want to type in that whole command again. So I'll press the up arrow because I have already typed it in before. And I can see the output there. So here's the contents of the file. Okay, so I've just written some JavaScript in a file. What if I want to run the file?
We can use Node.
Yeah. So Node and then hi.js. Is this going to work? Are we missing something?
It should work if you have Node installed.
Does it need absolute path or like /hi.js?
No, that's a good thought, but in this case, no. It'll if we're in the directory, it'll work. Okay. So we actually ran JavaScript. So we got somewhere in our computer, we created a directory, we created a file, we wrote JavaScript in our file, and we ran it all just on the command line. We can do the same with Python, right? So if we want to run a Python file, let's go through the same process. So to create a file, let's create hi.py. No cheating.
So you touch space hi.py.
Okay. Did that work?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
ls means let's see.
Oh, I like that. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like it worked. Now, what if I want to start writing some Python code inside hi.py?
Code hype.py.
Oh no, unbelievable. I can't believe you did that to me.
I don't want to use Vim.
All right, let's do, so we can use echo. So we can use echo, and then we can actually redirect the output. So echo will do, so in Python, how do we say hi in Python?
Print.
Okay.
Print.
The quotes may be trouble, we'll see. We'll find out shortly, and then we'll redirect to hi.py. And then let's just check the contents of the file. So cat hi.py. Yeah, the quotes are gone. I probably don't even need the quotes on the outer. Let's try that.
You could have used the backslash to escape the character, probably.
Yeah. Let me.
You're avoiding VS Code so much right now.
I'll recreate that. And then echo, let's do this one. Let's try this. Unbelievable. Yeah, let's see. I'll see if the escape works.
I think you should use either escape it or just use the single quotes and double quotes because it's closing itself out. So make one double quotes and make the outer double quotes and the inside single quotes. You should be good.
Let's try that. Cool. So Python actually and JavaScript, I think, don't care if it's single or double, like, unless there's cases where it's a quote inside a quote. But Bash does sometimes care if things are single or double quoted. So let's see. Let's cat the file. Looks good to me. Okay. Back on track. So we didn't use Vim. So Jenny's happy now. Didn't have to see Vim. No one's going to get trapped.
Thank you. Although next you have to explain echo.
Yeah, echo just prints whatever. So we actually used it when we were setting stuff up. So if I want to see something like, so this is actually an environment variable. So this, you can create your own variables as well. This comes in by default, like shell we saw. So when we tested to make sure that we were using Bash as a shell. So the $sign in front means that it's a variable. And you can just echo and it will print hi there. All right, so now we have this Python file. How do we run hi.py?
Python hi.py.
Okay. Looks like it worked. So that's the basic. So let's see where we are. So we started, from way down in the guts of our computer and changed directories up until we got where we wanted. In the desktop, we created a folder with mkdir, or created a directory, folder, same thing. Then we used touch to create a couple files, and then we just wrote some stuff in the files, and then we ran them. We ran the JavaScript file with Node. We ran the Python one with Python. So let's say I'm done now. I want to delete everything. How do I delete these files?
RM and then the file names.
Okay. JS. I could do them individually, or I can just pass in other arguments.
Can you do RM-A? If you remove, if dash
Is
A
it
is
RMDIR?
So I'm actually, I don't have another directory where I am right now. So if I try to remove a directory, I wouldn't have anything.
RM-RF?
Yes,
That's the folder.
if you want to remove a folder, but I don't have, where I am right now, there is no folder.
Okay.
I only have 2 files. So I can only remove files, so I'll remove them. And if I do ls, I can see that now my directory is empty. So if I want to go back out of this directory into my desktop, how do I do that?
Is it CD ...
Yep, cd ... So now I'm back in my desktop. I do ls. I can see that project folder. So what if, again, maybe not so important, but I don't want to read all this stuff. So I can do ls, and then this is called a pipe. You don't really need to know this, but I'm just showing you. So this will take, the pipe will basically allow you to run, like, chain multiple commands together. So I can run grep, which will search for a regular expression, basically a word, and then I can do project, something like that. Now I'll only get the specific thing I'm looking for. So I don't have to look at all this stuff and find what I'm looking for. I can just tell it what I'm looking for. So now I want to remove this folder.
We have to go up. Oh, wait, never mind.
Yeah, so we're in desktop, and so project folder is within the desktop folder.
Would we use RM again?
Let's try it. So RM project folder. Oh, looks like that doesn't work. I get an error, and it's telling me that the folder is a directory. So that may not be too meaningful, but RM is for files. At least as it is now, it's for files. So we can actually give it a flag, or a couple flags. We can do -rf. Yeah, and that will remove a directory. So that works. We do ls. Actually, let's run this this command. See, we get nothing because there's no project folder. All right, so that's the basics of command line stuff. So what you need to know how to do is cd. If you can move around, if you can mkdir, if you can make a directory, opening files, ls, seeing what's around you. So that's basically all you need to know. Okay, so we're gonna stop here and we'll take a 10-minute break, and then when we come back, we will talk about Git, and then we'll start working on some challenges.
That X that you got that shows that it wasn't there when you tried to run the command, is that
Yeah.
some like bash extra settings you have?
Yeah, it's just something in my bash profile.
Okay.